unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story has a legacy. Well, hello and welcome to another amazing episode of the Morning Buzz right here on Voice of the People Television. I am David Edwin, and I'm saying good morning, Nigeria. Oh, Vivian?
Well, I am Vivian Oguche, and it's such a pleasure to be here. David, you sound so upbeat, and I like it already.
Oh, well, sometimes you just have to, let me use your word, drag yourself out of where you actually feel that you...
That wasn't for public consumption. That was Oye alone, but it's good. I'm glad we're here. Yeah.
Oh, well, let's get to it almost immediately. Senator Abaribe says Nigeria would have been better if Peter Obi had won, as 79% of Nigerians rate Tinubu's 2-year regime 0 in an online poll. Interesting. Well, Vivian?
Interesting indeed. This next one is also interesting. Akwa Ibom governor's daughter accuses father of sacrificing a late First Lady, alleges threat to life as immigration hands over arrested Enugu native doctor who allegedly buried people alive for rituals to police.
Oh, well, these are the conversations we will be looking at this beautiful morning. But of course, you know how we do. We also have other interesting trending stories. But before we proceed, we would urge you to kindly visit, of course, our website, www.vop.ng, of course, for so much stories that you need at this time. But most importantly, if you're watching on YouTube and you've not subscribed already, hey, click on that subscribe button and be a part of all that we do here. And of course, anytime, any day, we got you at all time. But of course, you know, we would also continue this conversation online and all of our social media platforms. You can be a part of it just by going straight to any of the social media platforms. But right there, our handle is at VOPTV Live. And of course, you know how we do it, because right here, your opinion matters to us. And of course, we encourage you to share your thoughts and reactions with us via our WhatsApp line is 0904 473 2605. Now, because, you know, with us, definitely you have more than a voice. And of course, you know how we do. You can also catch us live on SLTV cable channel 264. And of course, that exactly is where you are going to get us. Well, let's get to one of those topics trending, or did trend yesterday. Interestingly, the Finnish politician and Biafran political activist Simon Ekpa appeared before the Päijät-Häme District Court in Finland on Friday as the country's government commenced his terrorism trial. Well, you would recall that in November 2024, the Finnish government arrested Ekpa on suspicion of terror-related activities, including incitement of violence and terrorism financing. He was also accused of using social media to incite violence and, of course, cause unrest in the southeast region of Nigeria as part of his secessionist agitation for Biafra. Well, according to the prosecutors, who are demanding a 6-year prison sentence for Ekpa, his activities may constitute terrorism under the Finnish law. Well, during interrogations, Ekpa denied ordering weapons for pro-Biafra groups and other allegations against him. Well, this story, you know for a fact that have been ongoing since 2024. Yes, that's a video of the man in court. I'm talking about Simon Ekpa. Well, as it stands, we just know for a fact that the Finnish government will see this to the later. And most importantly, the allegations leveled against him, if you know, this goes through, the Finnish government definitely would be having their judgments clear on that matter.
Absolutely. Finland is not Nigeria. I do remember when we're talking about something in the office not too long ago. Why are you laughing? It's for real, yeah?
The fact that you just said Finland is not Nigeria.
Finland is not Nigeria. You said something, they're going to see this thing to the conclusion,
yeah.
right? Now, you do remember how cleric Gumi was denied, performing the Hajj in South Africa, and we're having this discussion.
Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia, I beg your pardon. Yeah. And then someone said that, look, Saudi Arabia is not Nigeria. See how you depend on other countries to ensure that, justice is served. Right. That is what is happening here. I believe that Finland is going to do justice to this particular case. But hey, David, take a look at Simon, right? While you were talking about him, I was looking at him. Now, if the psychologist, Dili Fanimo, were here, I would have asked him, what is his body language saying? I'm going to be asking Peter Nosike in a short while. I know his answer is going to be interesting. He looks sober. Or would you say he looks... Yeah. Oh, wow. Talk about the angel. All right. So, later on. So, I'm saying, take a look at this. Yeah, David, what does his body language say to you? Sober or not remorseful?
Well, again, I am not
a
psychologist. But then again, the young man we see right now on the screen is
Simon Ekpa.
Kind of sober.
Yeah.
Maybe the realization of the fact that, hey,
this thing no be my mind.
The arms of the law is on me.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I really don't want to go that line of this is not Nigeria, because the correctional centers in these places are quite different. So
no, I'm talking about a case being seen to its logical conclusion. You do remember that?
No, I am talking about if he's found guilty.
Yeah.
The 6-year sentence that is likely to be melted on him. So for me, 6 years in a Finnish prison.
It's like Christmas?
No, not exactly. So confinement in a solitary place is not a good thing. Right? It has a way of shaping your psyche, reshaping your psyche and all of that. But I've not been there before anyways. I'm just saying.
I was going to ask if you're talking from experience. Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's going to really change the psychology of the person and change the entire being of Simon Ekpa. But it would be a little bit better than having to be in some correctional centers in Nigeria.
Absolutely, I agree. You're very right. Yeah.
You know, but then again, let's look at the fact that the Finnish government is looking at it from the angle of inciting the public. The Nigerian government is saying almost the same thing at the same time. But some quarters have said that there is a hand of the Nigerian government in all of this interrogation and all of that. Do you think that is possible?
Well, nothing is impossible, yeah. I mean, do you want to draw a parallel between between Simon Ekpa, his case, and the IPOB leader? But let's leave that for the analysts. Yeah, we'll move on now to the next story we are going to be taking a look at. The directive issued by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, was fully observed as shops remained closed and daily activities came to a halt. Now, the day marked annually on the 30th of May as Biafra Day honors the memory of the men and women, as well as children who lost their lives during the brutal 3-year conflict that ended in 1970. On social media, Nigerians paid tribute in powerful ways. Users shared emotional messages, photos, and rare footage from the war era. Hashtags like Ozuemena, David, I got that right?
Ozuemena.
Okay, thank you. Meaning
that shouldn't happen again.
Yes, meaning never again. Ojuku and rest in peace trended on X, formerly Twitter, as the digital space became a memorial ground of its own. Meanwhile, IPOB has renewed its call for May 30 to be recognized as an official public holiday in the Southeast. Speaking on Friday, IPOB's spokesperson, Ima Powerful, urged governors in the region to follow the example of the Southwest, where June 12 was formally adopted as Democracy Day in honor of MKO Abiola. He emphasized that recognizing May 30 would not only honor the memories of Biafra's fallen heroes, but also affirm the cultural and historical identity of the Igbo people. Now, David, let's talk about this a little bit. Actually, this trended massively on X yesterday.
All right.
I saw horrifying pictures of malnourished children that someone drew up from yesteryears during the civil wars.
Right.
Now, when you go through some of the threads online, some people are saying that the British, as well as Europe, was complicit in what happened in Nigeria during the Civil War. Why? Because they likened it to what's going on in Gaza right now, where you don't have enough food supply, and there is a blockade and all of that. So I don't know if you told that line, though.
Well, the first part is when there is a war situation, so much of human rights is thrown into the gutters, and you don't see anything. Nobody's upholding any rights. Nobody's practically doing what is right within their senses. It is a war-torn area at the time. So all of these things are inevitable at the time. But the part where concerns me is having to remember the fallen heroes of the Biafran era, and of course identifying nationally the May 30th, as Biafra Day. But then again, this is about the point where we'll bring in our studio guest, who is right here with us, and I'm talking about Mr. Peter Anosike, who is Voice of the People TV's in-house political affairs analyst, and of course an economist by profession. But a very good morning to you, Mr. Peter.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, now I see so much you really want to talk about, but let's stay with this Biafra Day, May the 30th. Yeah. First off, take us a little bit memory lane, and of course, let's come to the future. What can be done to not only immortalize or give remembrance to the fallen heroes of that particular era?
Can I start with Simon Ekpa?
30 seconds.
Okay. Do you know this? How this sagging started?
Can I hazard a guess? Inmates didn't have the belts to hold their jeans,
Yes.
so they started sagging.
Because they don't know that you are coming, so they don't know your size. So they just sew, so there's no belt.
Yeah.
So ordinarily, Simon Ekpa is not supposed to be putting on a tie.
Oh.
Understand
Wow.
me? Because somebody can use it to commit suicide.
Right.
So personally, that is very wrong.
So you're saying
You don't give a prisoner a belt or a tie. You don't give him anything that he can use to kill himself.
Oh.
Are you saying that the case of depression might come into play because of what he's going through right now, and he might begin to have suicidal thoughts?
Sure, because before now, he thought that he was having fun.
Okay.
So it is now done on him. And you can see that thing on his face.
That was the body language I was asking you about.
You can see that on it. Now, fun time is over. This is reality. He never expected this. So allowing him to put on a tie is wrong.
Okay. On the part of the Finnish government.
Sure.
All right, now let's get to the conversation of the Biafra Day. A lot of Igbos are asking at this time that there should be some national public holiday for the Igbos around the Southeast within that particular day. That's the May 30th. Do you share that sentiment? And then again, like I asked earlier, what can be done to immortalize these fallen heroes of Biafra at the time?
Well, for me, it was a war of resistance, a war of attrition.
Okay.
And it was during this war that we had Kwashiorkor for the first time. That's because Awolowo told go on. If you want to stop this war, starve them. Understand me? That is what Awolowo told General Gowon then.
Okay.
Starve them. So they cannot see food to eat. They were even eating grasshoppers, lizards, and so on and so forth.
That's horrifying. Now, so you're also laying the blame at the doorstep of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Now, how about people who are saying that Europe as well as Britain were also complicit by ensuring that really food didn't get to these malnourished children?
That is what Awono was told Gowon, and the British government told that line. Understand me? Even there was at a point in time where a container filled with poisoned sardine came down. Understand?
From where?
Came from Nigeria as a relief. Just like what Israelis are doing now in Gaza. So, if not that it was tested, understand?
It would have wiped out.
It would have wiped millions of people.
Wow. And that would have naturally become a major war crime. But then again, the part of public holidays within the Southeast on May 30th, do you subscribe to it?
About 2 weeks ago, Russia marked their victory against the Germans, 80 years.
Yes.
And Israel used to commemorate the genocide in Germany. Okay. That's how that word never again came on, understand me? So that it will continuously be in their conscience.
Right.
So this kind of a thing, if a day is set aside, now children who don't know about it will be asking why this day? Understand me? So the history will be in their mind. Understand me?
Okay.
And those people are supposed to be remembered. Because this is supposed to be, they say it should be a police action that should not last more than 24 hours. But it lasted 3.5 years.
Oh, wow. Well, so much to talk about on this particular trending story that we've mentioned. But because of our time, this is where we have to draw curtain on this particular segment. We'll be taking a very short break. Now, when we return, we'll be looking at what the front pages of the national dailies are saying this beautiful morning. You best want to stay with us. Morning Buzz, we'll be right back.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP this morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
We are the station that brings you stories from the people's perspective.
We'll let your voice be heard. On Political Lens, we bring you deeper insights into happenings within the polity.
We create equality of representative opinion and fairness in politics, economic and diverse conversations.
Here, we bring you breaking news, fresh perspectives, as well as fact-based analysis.
Watch our extraordinary shows from the People's Voice, where we get to amplify the stories and concerns of everyday Nigerians through hashtags.
To Health Check, where we share practical wellness tips and bring you deep insights from medical professionals.
Maritime Frontiers, we dissect issues on port operations and more.
Every time we talk about sport, it's everything that has to do with sport from the top to the finish. Just be with us, stay with us all of the time. We give you sporting activities just as it unfolds, and that's what we do, and that's why we are called Voice of the People TV, and you already know.
We got you all covered.
Here, you have more than a voice.
We're glad to have you back. It is still the Morning Boss right here on Voice of the People Television. Well, before that break, I did tell you that when we return, we'll be looking at what the front pages of the national dailies are saying this beautiful morning. We have so much of these national dailies right in front of us. But I'm going to just start off with the Saturday Punch. Let's take a punch from the Saturday Punch. Well, the banner headline here reads, Niger flood of fury. Over 100 dead, 70 buried, 100 missing. That's a subrider of that particular headline. Over 100 dead, 70 buried, 100 missing. Another subrider there reads, How I lost 17 family members. This is according to a survivor reeling out his account. Another rider there, Tinubu orders rescue and relief efforts. Quite a sad one there at Niger State. Very, very, very sad one. All right, above that banner headline, other headline reads, Terrorism. Prosecutors seek 6-year sentence for Simon Ekpa. My son who died in Lagos building collapsed. My son who died in Lagos building collapse scored 320 in UTME. Well, this is an account of a driver who is recounting his ordeal of a collapsed building and, of course, his son in that same building. Other headlines there. My wife died due to my absence. I'm trying to reel what that is. Somewhat kind of I'm missing out. It's kind of blurry here anyways. This is an account of Pastor Kumuyi. These are one by the side of the nameplates. That's the headline there by the side of the nameplates. Other headlines, ex-AIG orders back Egbetokun after reforms backlash. How I became a chartered accountant according to Babcock students. Well, these are the headlines. And of course, the pictorial there is a pictorial of the just concluded National Sports Conference where you had Senate President very, very much in that particular event. Well, Speed Darlington snubs Natib summons. That's at the bottom strip there. And well, I want to say that's about the headlines. Yes, right there at the front page of the Saturday Punch. Oh, well, before we go to another paper, I'd like Mr. Peter Anosike to chime in on one particular headline here on the front page of the Saturday Punch. The major banner headline here, which is the Niger flood of fury. We did have a bit of conversation yesterday at the midday news yesterday, but then right now the figures are increasing, and that is quite alarming and very, very sad. 100 dead, 70 buried already, and 100 still missing.
What I saw is 155.
So the numbers keep dwindling and increasing.
One of the best captions that I've seen in my life is pain in Spain. When there was a disaster.
Yeah.
So one newspaper in America just captioned it, pain in Spain.
It's catchy. It's very catchy.
Yeah. So the problem that we have in Nigeria is negligence. We're not always proactive. Rather, we are reactionary. We always wait for something to happen. That's a fire brigade approach.
Yeah.
Which is not the best at all. This thing was warned. They were warned before.
Right.
That there's going to be this disaster, but nothing was done about it.
Who would you blame? So the
government.
Exactly, because I was saying so. Government warned the people.
NIMET warned.
And the meteorological agency as well.
Yes,
they said, okay, this is going to happen between Wednesday and Friday.
Sure.
Now, government would have made provisions of these people who are going to be displaced or these people who are going to be hardest hit. you know, make provisions for somewhere to go, for maybe an upland area.
Temporary evacuation.
Absolutely.
That's
that
what
wasn't
is done in the other parts of the country.
But then again, let's look at it from the angle of the moving of the residents in that area. Do you think the residents would even want to move? Because you know how Nigerians can be. Until something happens to them, that's when they want to take it serious. I want to talk on the path of the Nigerians themselves. Do you think Nigerians naturally would want to move to a higher land for the safety of their lives?
Ordinarily, it's not a common thing here. That I mean, because God knows that we don't have a capacity for all this, so He kept it away from us. But once in a while, it comes. But in the other countries, there's always a temporary accommodation for them. Understand?
Right. All right, let's get to another pay-per-view. Yeah.
All right, so let me quickly take a look at the first news. On the front page now, major headline there, beg your pardon, is they took my daughter, now they want me. That's coming from who now? They took my family, I beg your pardon, now they want me. That's coming from Governor Eno's daughter. There's one rider to that story. It says, I am not a sacrifice. Gov's daughter cries out, blames shadowy killers for mother, brother's deaths. This is like a deja vu for me. And as Peter talked about it earlier on, he said that ritual killings they're all lies. And I'm going to have him comment on that in a short while.
Well, that's our major talking point, so we wouldn't want to talk about it right now.
Okay,
so
yeah.
We'll get to it
absolutely.
when we get
later,
the major talk.
So above the masthead, though, we have troops kill terrorists, terror leader Abu Fatima in Lake Chad raid. Below that, we have this one. It's a little bit blurry, but let me see if I'm going to be able to figure it out. Appeal Court reinstates Kano LG polls. Is that it? I'm having a hard time reading what is there, but let me skip that particular story and go to this other one that is way below the middle strip. Death toll from Niger floods hits 115. More bodies feared trapped. Also, troops kill 60 Boko Haram terrorists in Borno airstrike. Also, INEC announces dates for Ekiti Osun Gov polls. Which one catches your fancy, Peter?
Permit me, really. I want Mr. Peter Anusi to talk about the INEC announcing dates for Ekiti and Osun election.
Okay.
Now, one of the reasons why I want you to talk on that is the readiness of INEC. Yes, you are not an INEC official, but I really want you to chime on it because, look, having irregularities during elections is quite disturbing. And, of course, there won't be trust if we consistently keep having elections that are marred by all of these irregularities. What say you on all of this?
Well, logistics is always a problem in this, but conducting an off-cycle that's off-cycle election,
yes,
because you are just focused on one state.
On one.
But because of the state of infrastructure in the country, understand? Election are supposed to start by 9. You can see it starting by 2-3.
Right.
Just like this Wayek saga
situation, yes.
So, and again, vested interest, understand me?
On whose part?
That's on INEC. INEC not being partial.
Okay.
That's coming with a made-up mind. We want this candidate to win. Because now, the parties in opposition are afraid of Edo saga. Understand me? Because now it is easy to mobilize maybe 40,000 policemen to Edo. I mean to Osun, which is a PDP state.
Right.
But if it's a general election, you cannot have that number of soldiers in a particular state.
Absolutely.
So
that's also the vested interest you're talking about.
Yes, so rigging is always very easy during off-cycle elections.
All right, let me quickly chime in before David comes on board. You do know that not too long ago, INEC said they want to employ the use of AI, artificial intelligence, to ensure efficiency in electoral process. Do you think that's going to help in any way, though?
They will tell you that it's not in the Constitution at the end of the day. Understand me? That they have the right to either use or not to use.
Which is what the general elections had as an issue.
They will bring up a constitution and say that it is not in the constitution. So it's part of their deception.
Well, I would really, really love you to talk on, maybe for 30 seconds, 1 minute, electoral reforms. You would recall that a lot of persons have been asking for this reform, both political and ordinary Nigerians. In fact, one of such persons is a friend of mine, I'm talking about Peter Randy, who took the decision of going to the National Assembly to write to the National Assembly to talk about electoral reforms. Electoral reforms process and all of it is supposed to end by December. So if it does not happen, it simply means that there wouldn't be any reforms. We'll stay with what we have come 2027 election. Let's go to that angle. Do you also share the opinion that the National Assembly should be very strong on electoral reforms?
Well, you cannot.
In 30 seconds.
You cannot make a law that would affect you. Understand me? If they make laws that will ensure free, fair, transparent election, it is going to affect them, because none of them has ever passed through free and fair election.
When you say none of them,
well, this is open for discussion, really.
How about the other people that came in from the Labour Party movement at the time?
Yeah, well, he said all of them, so it means all of them, including these people that you're saying.
We know what goes in during an election.
All right.
Okay.
So, in other words, you're saying status quo remains.
It's going to remain, because they will still tell you that Biafra's IRF is not in the constitution.
That's what taxpayers' money are used for. Millions and billions of naira. Mr. Peter, so much to talk about on this anyway.
At the end of the
And
day.
nobody's held responsible.
No.
All right, let's get to another paper quickly. We'll go straight to the Saturday Tribune, where the banner headline here reads, FG seizes Osun LG's February, March, April allocation. Wow, interesting. That banner headline, I have to take it again for you to understand clearly. FG seizes Osun local government's February, March, April allocation. And the subriders of that particular headline is State drags AGF, Fagbemi, to Supreme Court. INEC announces dates for Osun Ekiti governor poll. Interesting. Above the banner, I beg your pardon, above the nameplates there, other headlines, 115 killed by flood in Mokwa. Quite unfortunate. That's the Niger State situation. The numbers keep increasing. Other headlines, like in US, UK, we aim to push survival chance of suicide cell carriers in Africa at 90%. Beneath the banner headline, police arrest 41 suspects over killing of DPO in Kano. Oh, well, because of the visible nature of these headlines, we definitely will just have to round it up with this particular headline. But then again, let's look at this headline, Mr. Peter, in maybe 1 minute thereabout.
So I want to talk about Osun.
Yes, the
because with what you are seeing there.
Go ahead.
With what you are seeing there, the election is being rigged already. With what you are seeing there, the election is being rigged already.
How do you mean?
Now, by seizing the scenarios of the local government in 3-4 months, the workers are not going to be happy. Understand me? This is what and Osun is in the opposition. Mind you, in between 1999 and 2003, Obasanjo was seizing the allocations of local government in Lagos State.
Oh, well.
Then 2004,
yes.
Tinubu went to court and Supreme Court declared that federal government has no power to withhold the allocations to local governments. It was a celebrated case. Now, Tinubu is now doing that same thing.
And I'm wondering where this leaves the local government autonomy issue and all that. But David wants to run here. So.
At this point, really, so much to talk about on this particular headline. But because of our time, this is where we have to draw curtain on looking at the front pages of the national dailies. Well, let's get to the main conversation proper. Senator Abaribe says Nigeria would have been better if Peter Obi had won the 2023 general elections, as 79% of Nigerians rate Tinubu's two-year regime 0 in an online poll. Let's discuss this after this quick break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's get to it almost immediately. As President Bola Ahmed Tinubu marked his second year in office on May the 29th, 2025, frustration echoed across social media platforms. Many Nigerians expressed disappointment with the government's performances, pointing to worsening economic conditions, insecurity, and broken promises. A viral Instagram poll by popular influencer, well, you know him, Tunde Ednut, captured the mood, with 79% of over 40,000 respondents rating Tinubu's administration at 0%. Only 6% of respondents gave the administration a perfect score of 100%, while 11% rated it at 40%, and just 4% at 70%. Well, you can see that rate performance on the screen there. Well, the comments under the post were filled with heartbroken emojis, flames, and crying faces, reflecting the sentiment of citizens who feel let down by unmet promises and worsening socio-economic conditions. Well, this sharp disconnect between the government's self-assessment and public opinion has highlighted the growing frustration among Nigerians grappling with inflation, insecurity, and rising poverty. With online platforms serving as a megaphone for the masses, the verdict for many Nigerians at Tinubu's two-year mark appears clear. Expectations remain unmet, and confidence in the administration is low. Well, amid this public dissatisfaction, Senator Einaya Abaribe, representing Abia South Senatorial District, stated that Nigeria would have been better today if Labour Party's Peter Obi had won the 2023 presidential election. Representing Abia South, Abaribe accused the Tinubu's administration of deepening nepotism, citing the appointment of 4 ministers from Ogun State alone. Well, he argued that the Southeast has long been sidelined and called for the region to stop waiting for fairness from the presidency and instead focus on rebuilding and strengthening itself from within. Well, again, we have with us in the studio Mr. Peter Anosike, who I told you before is a developmental economist and, of course, Voice of the People TV's in-house analyst. And we have virtually joining us Mr. Dele Fanimo, a seasoned reporter and, of course, VOP TV's in-house analyst as well. Well, also, we have joining us virtually Honorable Felix Pascal Pulevo, public affairs analyst, of course, joining from our Benin studios, but he is presently somewhere in Taraba State. Well, gentlemen, once again, good morning to you.
Good morning, David, Vivian, and Peter Anosike, my very good friend.
Well, good morning to you, Mr. Dele Fanimo. All right, Mr. Pulevo, are you with us? Good morning to you. Please unmute yourself. Mr. Felix, can you hear us? Okay. So while we wait for him to join, I'm going to come to you, Mr. Dele Fanimo. First off, let's come from the angle of the last general election, the 2023 general elections. First off, Senator Einaya Abaribe has said that Peter Obi would have done better than the present-day government. I want to ask this directly. Do you share the same sentiment, first? And secondly, he also cited the appointment of 4 ministers from Ogun State alone. And you know what that means? It means, in one word, federal character have been defeated when it comes to ministerial appointments. What is your opinion on that as well? These two questions, Mr. Delifanimo, let's have you.
Well, I want to say here that the fact that Peter Obi would have done better than Tinubu is neither here nor there. What we have not tested, we can't assume. I know that you and I know that if Buhari had not won 2015 election, till today, the profile of Buhari would have risen far, far better than any other president. Now, even better than Abiola, MK Abiola.
Mr. Fadimo, sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you. You continue your line of thought. Your sentence, what we've not tested, we cannot assume. But President Bola, you said what we've not tested, we cannot assume.
I said you cannot rate what you have not tested.
Interesting. President Bola Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State, and what he stood on was the fact that he developed Lagos massively. Isn't
if
that?
you want to go by what Tinubu did in Lagos State,
right?
If he had not won that election too, we will be saying Tinubu would have replicated what he did in Lagos State in Nigeria, but he was not given a chance.
Okay.
So I know the premise I'm trying to lay.
All right, go ahead then.
What I'm telling you is that perhaps I'm not saying that Peter Obi would have performed below what is happening now. But what I'm telling you is that if Buhari had not come to become the president of Nigeria in 2015 up to 2019 and 2023, most Nigerians that were raving and struggling to make sure, to the extent that we were saying that if it has to come to the point that school certificates will be an impediment for Buhari to be president of Nigeria, that he should submit his NEPA bill in lieu of a school certificate. That was the rabid thing that came over all Nigerians, that we want change, we want Mr. Integrity. At the end of the day, what happened after 8 years? So, if Tinubu had not come into government, we would still be rating him as per his achievement in Lagos State, and we will say, if Tinubu had come, maybe he would have done better than Peter Obi, in case Peter Obi had won that election.
Okay.
So it is neither here nor there. What we need to talk about is what Peter Obi is doing now. He should intensify it, and perhaps with the support of Nigerians, get into office and then surpass whatever is happening. I have not seen a government that leaves office without people vilifying that government. But as soon as that government leaves, after 5, 6, 8 years, we'll begin to eulogize that government. Who would ever believe that the way Jonathan was vilified in this country up until 2015, that Nigerians will be yearning for Jonathan? One word that was constantly used against Jonathan was, he was clueless. You imagine if somebody tells you are clueless, it means you don't even know the direction you are going. Yet, now they are now just opposing Jonathan's administration with that of Buhari and giving Jonathan pass mark and say, Jonathan, come and continue. So that's the way, that's the dynamics. Nobody, if you bring an angel to Nigeria, everybody will rubbish that angel before he finishes his administration. That's what I'm saying. You cannot judge what Peter Obi will do because he has not found himself in that position.
All right, let's talk about federal character. That's the second question I asked you. Federal character in the path of appointment of ministers. Do you think that the president has done well enough in that regards? 4 ministers from Ogun State alone.
Please, can you mention them? Can you mention the 4 ministers that are serving from Ogun State.
Well, I'm going to get those facts for you. But then, looking at federal character in terms of appointments, do you think that Mr. Abaribe, Senator Abaribe, was right when it comes to accusing the president of not having to distribute his ministers in the federal character mind?
There is no way. You see, sometimes when we overrate some of these people that are in the corridors of power, there is no way Tinubu would have appointed 4 ministers from Ogun State alone, and they will be kept there up to today without being challenged. It is not possible. Where are these 4 ministers? Mention them.
All right, now,
people don't just dish out lies without facts, and you want me to follow through that lie. Ministerial position is according to states. The only preference you can get is for a state to have 2. When every other state that had their own share, 1 each. Then if you want to say you want to name other ministers, you can now pick 1 other minister from each geopolitical zone, which makes 6. And from that 6, you can pick any state from 1 geopolitical zone.
Okay.
Today,
Go ahead.
How would Ogun State now have 4? And up to today, nobody is challenging Ogun State. How did it pass the National Assembly? These are lies.
All right, now let's bring this to the fore. I have right in front of me. Maybe you counter this. Wale Edun, Minister of Finance. Bosun Tijani, Minister of Communication. Adekunle Salako, Minister of State for Environment. And Jumoke Oduwale, Minister Designate, Ministry of course, Industry, Trade and Investment. These young people are from Ogun State, Mr. Fadimo.
Bosun Tijani is from Osun.
Oh,
so
now,
how could it have become an Ogun minister?
Now Bosun Tijani is from Osun State.
I said Bosun is, now you can see the lie. And
we have.
Let me tell you.
We have it in his Wikipedia that he is from Ogun State. That's his fact that he has on Wikipedia. I'm talking about Bosun Tijani now.
It is human beings that fed Wikipedia.
He's the one that gave the permission for Wikipedia, don't you think so?
Well, for me, there is no way 4 ministers can come from Ogun State.
But I just mentioned 4, Mr. Fadimo.
Well, giving me this information now, but I know if 4 ministers had come from Ogun State, and the National Assembly passed it, then there's something wrong with the system. Well, it is not possible,
right?
Except there is compromise and there is corruption embedded in all this.
Okay, because of this conversation, we definitely want to stay with you, but of course we have other analysts.
I was wondering, don't you want Peter to react to his very good friend, Dele?
Well,
I mean, really, he's smiling.
He's been waiting so well. But again, let's put this out there. Bosun Tijani, 27 July 1977, Ogun State, Nigeria. This is Wikipedia's fact. And of course, Bosun Tijani himself verified this with his media aid as well. But I'm going to come to you, Mr. Peter Anasike. You've been in this conversation. First off, let's start with federal character. I don't want you to go after what Mr. Fadimo has said, because I know you have so much to say, so much to say. But then, let's have your opinion.
The issue is this. Do you know that Southeast as a whole has just 1 substantial minister?
And that's in the person of...
Dave Omahi.
Yes.
That's that mean. The other 4 states has junior ministers. Ohanenye, the Minister of Women Affairs, was removed. And the Bianco Juku, the Minister of State.
Right.
So they removed a senior minister and brought in a junior minister. Abia has junior. Imo has a junior. Anambra junior. So Southeast as a whole, they just have one substantial minister. But now, 4 ministers from one single state. And mind you, this is the first time that 2 service chiefs are coming from a state in Nigeria, Osun State.
Right.
The chief of army staff and the IG of police are both from Osun State. So nepotism of Tinubu is the worst in the history of Nigeria. And it is very, very unfortunate that Tinubu, who I thought is a civilized man, should be doing this. I knew that Buhari was not a socialist. Buhari did not know anybody. He was just a kind of a recluse.
But he is also a nepotist when it comes to federal character.
That's what I'm saying now.
Okay.
Tinubu, Buhari was a kind of a recluse. He wasn't associating with people.
In other words, he wasn't exposed.
He wasn't exposed. But Tinubu is. I used to say that if you make a Atiku minister today, within 24 hours, he can appoint 36 ministers from all the states.
And it took Buhari 6 months.
Because he doesn't know anybody, he doesn't socialize. But Tinubu, who has traveled across the length and breadth of the country, should know who is who, and should not have done this.
Let's look at the implication of not having a total federal character when it comes to ministerial appointments. What's the implication really?
I even wonder why they should be accusing Abadebe of lying, because he's in the Senate. They screened all these ministers.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that he doesn't know the people that he screened. Understand me? So Ogun State has 4 ministers, and this is the first time in the history of Nigeria that this is happening. Then on the issue of giving Tinubu 79%, that's of Nigeria saying only 79%. Maybe that is even rigged.
No.
No, the
79% they gave him zero.
I said that is even rigged. The figure is rigged.
So you're saying it would have been 90%?
99. How many Nigerians are happy? Go everywhere. We have analyzed the state of economy, 0. The state of insecurity, 0. Even on that May 29, when he was saying that he's on top of security, 50 people were killed in Benue.
Wait, David, before you bring Felix in here, President Tinubu visited the East not too long ago. It was all pomp and pageantry, and we had so many people singing his praises, calling him one of the best things to have happened to Nigeria. Are those people aliens?
That's political. That is political.
Well,
Sonudo is afraid of on a door happening to him. Understand me?
Okay.
So he has to pay people that to come and sing Tinubu's praises.
Is this a fact or it's in the realm of speculation?
Of Edo?
Yeah, no, of Soludo paying people to come and sing Tinubu's praises.
If you don't pay me, I will not sing Tinubu's praises.
Oh well, let's get to Mr. Felix Pascal Pulevo, who is in Taraba State this beautiful morning. Let's get to the conversation. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Pulevo. A very good morning to you again.
Yeah, good morning. How are you today?
Fine, very well, thank you. And we're so excited to have you join this conversation. Now, you follow the trend of the conversation. What's your opinion of all that we've mentioned thus far?
I think for me, a lot of these guys are just taking us for a ride. That is the truth. Like, Nigeria is bigger than what some of them imagine, what some of them think and take us to be. How can a senator come out and be making such kind of allegation? It's an affront on himself and the Senate as a whole. These are even cases where we should have senators being punished, not people just coming out sexual harassment case here and there, and then people are just harassed up and down. You know.
Sorry to cut you, Mr. Pulevo. I'm so sorry to have cut your line of thought. But the question now would be, when you say it's about senators being punished, don't you think Senator Baribe was just trying to play careful and not be in the line of maybe the likes of Senator Aline Dume, who was suspended for talking against the president? Don't you think this is what is playing for them to have kept quiet up to this time?
His pronouncement, that means he's being timid. That means he's not being patriotic. that means it's just, it's not, what he is saying is not for the good of the nation if he had kept quiet all this while. And so my concern is the fact that this is even an indictment on the Senate, because the Senate is the one that is supposed to uphold the federal character stuff, you know, and then these guys came in. You are now saying that Ogun State alone has 4 ministers. How? When all the ministers were screened by that hollow chamber and you were seated there, you know, and then we have a Senate president. So all of them were there, 109 of you. You now agreed for one state to have 109 senators, only for you to come out 2 years after and start complaining. You are taking us for a ride.
But then again,
I think we have to apologize to Nigerians, because the biggest seat in this country is the office of the citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So you should come out and even apologize to us, because for me it's insulting for my personality as a citizen, because you are taking me for a ride. That I send you there to represent my interests as a senator, and then you allowed illegality, as it is alleged, to happen, only for you to come after 2 years. 2 years that I have suffered that impunity. 2 years that probably my state has been shortchanged. 2 years that this thing must have aided the underdevelopment and the stress we are passing through in the country. Then that is when you are able to speak up after 2 years and expecting us to clap for you, wrapping it with the fact that if Obi was elected, Nigeria would have been better. Was that not the same thing that was said about Buhari? Just like the way Mr. Dele said. Do you know that if Buhari had not become president of this country, so many people, even if he is not alive, so many people would have been going to his grave to worship him even after his death? But as posterity will have it, and we thank God, God is not human. He gave him the opportunity and we saw what he can do. He was considered as a savior. So many people thought that, oh no, Buhari is the savior we never had. Then he came, he played his card, and what is his scorecard like? So all those people even saying they did one poll here, they did one poll there, you know, about the current administration and all whatnot. This is the same thing all of them said about Tinubu. Even Tinubu people said Tinubu is very experienced. He was there prior to the civil war. He was there after the civil war. He went to prison because of agitation for democracy in this country. He knows the system very well. He will deliver. Here we are. So I think for me is, can we get serious for once? Like, this business of Nigeria, this business of nationhood is not something for us to speak English over, to just toil around with it and be taking it for granted, as if we are still running one litmus test with our identity after 40-something years.
Well,
it's something that we need to raise up and challenge ourselves and look at each other in the face and say it is not working. Whether you are a Yoruba man, you should speak against it and say it is not working. My brother, you are not doing well. If you are an Ibom man, tell him that, okay, you are not a magician. This wrath, Peter Obi can come in today. If it is about a structural decay, if the structure is not well, you know, restructured, he may still come in and may not do anything tangible. If, for example, I'm a northerner and I say I want a northerner to be there, by all means, it is not about all those kind of things. So it's not, we shouldn't just be after power, but we should be after fixing the structure and getting it right as a nation. And looking at the faces of some of these people who are taking us for granted and telling them Nigeria is bigger than you. And so put your personal interest in your pocket and let's face the business of Nigeria and fix this country once and for all.
Okay, all right. That's a very, very good place to anchor this particular conversation. But I'm still going to come to the studio. Mr. Peter, do you think in any way that this statement from Senator Baribe has something to do with some ethnic sentiment, which has been what a lot of persons have been using to really cloud and becloud the face of Nigerians?
The biggest problem with Nigerians is that they don't know history. That's the biggest problem. So I feel disappointed when people say that people were thinking that Buhari would have done well. I was in class 3 secondary school in 1984 when Buhari was announced as a president, as a head of state. Understand me? And in 2015, I wrote a pamphlet tabulating that Buhari is empty upstairs. Empty upstairs. 2015, because I witnessed his 1 year, 6 months in office. This guy is zero. So those that are saying that the people who have thought that Buhari would have done well, Buhari is a non-starter.
But can I chime in before you go ahead? Buhari and his deputy, the late Idiagbo,
yes,
they were touted as the best, or probably one of the best things to have happened to Nigeria.
was running the administration.
Are you kidding? It was Idiagbo. So Buhari was like a figurehead?
Idiagbo was running Buhari have never had presence. That's what we call the presence.
Ah.
Even when Abacha appointed him the chairman of PTF, Petroleum Trust Fund, it was an agency that ran PTF. So anybody that said that Buhari would have done well doesn't know history.
Now I'm going to take. Go ahead.
What tells you what somebody will do is the character of the person.
Okay.
Character of the person. Somebody have been tested somewhere. With that, understand me, you can say this is what he can do or what he cannot do. The problem with Nigeria today is squandermania, wastefulness. P2B is frugal, very, very prudent. P2B as a governor will give you, as a governor of Anambra State, will give you advert and say, I need my commission. A governor.
Okay.
Understand me?
Right.
In 2012, we visited the government house, Anambra. It was cucumber and watermelon that we ate.
And
understand me?
They gave you something now.
No food.
Cucumber and watermelon?
Understand me? And water. The governor.
That's nutritious.
Oh.
When we went to Uduagan, money was flying everywhere. They brought cola nuts and said that in their tradition, cola nuts shouldn't be moving around and it should be supported with money. Oh. Understand me? Until with the government house, we didn't see any money. But in Udagan governor, we left with 5 million.
Wow.
That's what they used to support cola nuts. That's on a tray.
Yeah.
So the character of a person will show you what that person will do in the office. If P2B was the president, this SUG of 160 million, they will not have thought about it. Understand me? Because your boss will not be wearing a wristwatch of 1,000 naira. You'll be wearing a wristwatch of 100,000 naira. You should always be watching the body movement of your boss.
All right, now we're going to wrap up this conversation, and I'm going to take it round all of the analysts, and I'm just going to ask you in one sentence: has the President Bola Tinubu's administration in the last 2 years, from your view, done well enough to get another 8 years in Nigeria? One sentence.
Government is an appraisal.
Right.
It's a referendum. So if I'm a teacher and Tinubu's 2 years is brought to me, I'll score him 0.
That's deep.
Zero.
Quick answer. Mr. Fanimo, I understand you're back with us again, and of course I believe you heard my question. What is your own assessment as well? Please unmute your mic if you...
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I said, before I answer your question straight, I want to say, and I want to plead that whatever we are telling our listeners and viewers at home, we must be sure of it. Somebody said Egbetogun is from Osun State. This is a blatant lie. How did it come to be to be that way? It's from Erija in Yewa, south of Ogun State.
Okay.
We are supposed to inform, educate, and entertain.
All right. Thank you for that one.
Because people will just take it as narrative and begin to say it. Because they believe us. We are the media.
Right.
Now, what I want to say about the scorecard of this administration is the fact that on the micro level, they are showing us that we are faring better, but Nigerians are not faring better. Indices point to the fact that Nigerians are suffering, and I'm not an exception. Go to any household, even the rich is also crying. Nobody is happy. And the government needs to do more to ensure that life becomes abundant for the average Nigerian. But at the macro level, yes, they're pushing indices, statistics, and that. But in reality, we have not seen this thing on ground. So for me, I would not say this government is doing well. That's my assessment of this government.
Okay, so if you're going to assess this government, what of a ratio of 1 to 10, what would you give the government?
I'll give 4.
4 over 10. Okay. I don't know if Mr. Pascal is with us already. I would like to have his opinion as well. 30 seconds, Mr. Pascal. Can you please rate this present administration in the last 2 years?
For me, for the last 2 years,
yes,
I want to give it to President Tinubu that he was bold enough to take some decisions that former presidents have shied away from. Number one is the issue of this local government autonomy that is, even though it's yet to be fully implemented. But that doggedness to say that, to have the courts make that pronouncement that the local government should have its autonomy, I salute him for that. That is number one. Because for me, full implementation of the local government autonomy is like another independence for Nigeria. Because a large chunk of the civil servants are in the local government and are the ones being held hostage by their state governors. So, but a lot has to be done. He's actually also being dogged, but he really needs to show that doggedness in so many areas, like the area of security, area of economy, because a lot are happening there. Though there are a lot of political connotations, especially from us, the Northerners. Me, I know it, and I've been talking to them about it, and I've been challenging it. We should be looking at one Nigeria. It's not about a Northerner being on seat before you feel it is a democracy. It shouldn't be considered right because you are there and wrong because you are not there. You know, for me. So he needs to be dogged about the insecurity issue. If Mr. Felix Pascal Poulevo is involved in perpetrating insecurity, head on, he should bring me down.
Okay.
Don't look at your political connotation.
We definitely are out of time. Thank you so very much, Mr. Peter. We understand.
And Nigeria must stand.
All right, fantastic. Now, let's get to the next conversation. Vivian?
Absolutely. We are switching gears now. And Akwa Ibom governor's daughter is accusing her father of sacrificing the late First Lady. She also alleged a threat to life as immigration hands over arrested Enugu native doctor who allegedly buried people alive for rituals to the police. Details of this particular story after this break. Stay with us.
Every legacy holds the power to inspire. A unique interview series that celebrates the lives of Nigeria's elder statesmen and women through their remarkable journeys in the military, diplomacy, public service, academia, medicine, and beyond. Conversation that transcends generations, offering guidance to youth leaders, diplomats, technocrats, and future change makers. We unveil the wisdom, resilience, and achievements that shapes our nation and the world. Join us every Sunday on Voice of the People Television. Reminiscence, legacies that leads the way, stories that lives on.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, tensions have escalated in Akwa Ibom State following a viral video posted by Jane Ididiong Ufot, daughter of Governor Umoeno, in which she accused her father of being responsible for the death of her mother, Patience Oluwakemi Umoeno, who passed away in September 2024. Jane, who serves as the governor's senior special assistant on health, safety, and environment, claimed her life and that of her daughter are now in danger. She also linked the mysterious deaths of her mother and two brothers to an alleged pattern of family sacrifices. The emotional video has sparked widespread reactions online, with Jane insisting she will not suffer the same fate. She hinted at undisclosed truths she plans to reveal, which she believes have made her a target. So far, there has been no public response from Governor No, and efforts to contact his media team have been unsuccessful. In another development, though, well, before we talk about this particular development that I was going to tell you about this other ritualist that was arrested. Oh, okay. Well, in another development, the Nigerian Immigration Service has handed over a suspected ritualist Onyekabu to the Lagos State Police Command. He was arrested in connection with multiple killings in Enugu State, including the alleged burial of victims in his home alive. The arrest was made possible by Immigration Officer Prince Oji Ugochukwu, who refused a bribe reportedly worth 10 million naira. Well, his bravery has been widely praised by Nigerians for standing firm against corruption and bringing the suspect to justice. Right, before I introduce my guest, or before I bring the gentlemen on board to discuss this very touching issue, why don't we take a listen to Jane, find out what she's saying about what she feels her father has done.
SS Jane Ididiongu fought SSA to be governor on health, safety, and environment. Daddy, I'll send this particular post to only you. Please, let us talk before this thing destroys. You cannot, I'm not a sacrifice. Mommy was, I'm not. Mommy was, I am not. If I give you few minutes, don't work. I've posted this to everywhere. Tell Grandpa, finish talking, talk to Grandpa.
Keep breaking and breaking.
So, Grandpa, do you want them to kill us?
So, Grandpa, do you want them to kill us?
Oh, do you want them to die like my brother died? Do you want them to die like my baby brother died? Ask him.
Do you want them to die like my baby brother?
Good.
Died?
Hey, hallelujah.
That is painful to watch. I can tell you that. Now, imagine subjecting that little girl to this kind of thing. But let me bring you into this discussion, Peter. You remember that some weeks ago, this same platform, it was David and I and yourself. In fact, this is a deja vu worthy moment, I can tell you. And you said that anybody that talks about ritual killing and actually believes it is being deceived, that there is nothing like that. I want you to lay the foundation for that before we really delve into this matter.
What I say is this using people for money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That was my exact word.
Which is ritual killing for money making.
For money making, because I say if you use it in Nigeria, maybe he will bring naira. What if you use an American?
Dollars. I remember you said that.
Sure,
all right.
Sure.
So what do you make though of these allegations that Jane is making against her father, a sitting governor, and then she's now bringing her very little daughter into this thing? What do you make of it?
Well, the little daughter ought to be protected.
Yes.
She's not matured enough that to know or begin to talk about, because it's going to be in her subconsciousness.
Yeah.
You even begin to fear every male around her, and it's going to affect her psychology. But the truth is that I have said it over and over, election is still deep. No genuine man of God can do politics.
Yeah, but there is Reverend Father Aliyah Hyacinth in Benue, who is the governor as well.
I say no genuine man of God can do politics.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria, and a lot of things are involved.
Okay.
Understand me? I know of a governor in Southeast who immediately he became governor, his wife became mad.
Wow.
A former governor in the Southeast.
Do you want to name names?
I will not.
So from this particular sentence now, are you saying that these kind of acts, and of course alleged accusation by the daughter of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, seem to be something not far from the reality of what happens around politics in Nigeria?
sure, it happens. Many of the politicians go into a lot of things, maybe for their protection, because no matter any position you are occupying, more than 1,000 people are eyeing that position. So they may tell you, if you don't want to die, understand. Okay, let me give you a practical example with somebody who is well known.
Okay.
There was one former governor of Kwara State, Adisa. He was having a misfortune everywhere. So I was in the Sun newspaper then. Femi Adesina, who everybody knows, told me that I should go to two spiritualists and two native doctors that to find out why that is happening to him.
Did you?
Femi Adesina told me.
Yeah, but did you go?
I went now, but you know what? For me, I don't believe in all those things. Okay. But what I was looking for, I was just walking on the street. I saw a signboard, native doctor Susan Susan. I asked them, where is this guy's office? They
actually asked about an office. That's interesting.
I'm trying to see where he's taking us.
So
what happened? You saw
they told me I went there. That was around 7 p.m. Understand me? 7 p.m. I went there, and the guy was there wasn't even electricity in his house. He's so poor that nights were in other people's and this a native doctor, somebody who is helping others but cannot help himself. Understand me? So I just went there and told him. He gave me the answer I already expected. Enemies.
Wow.
Understand me? So he was saying that the governor should go to a road that has the four, that's the four kind of, I don't know what they call it.
T-junctions.
T-junction.
Right.
And they stay in the middle of that and bath in the night. Do some incantations. After that, I even went to this Hindu something, understand me? Oh, wow. So because once your editor tell you something, you don't say no. You must come back with a report. So I went to this Hindu something at where they call Abonosh, understand me?
Right.
Then even at the end of the street, I went there and I told them my mission. They told me how much it will cost. I told them that I gave them all the money which I was given from the office. I brought a report back. Sincerely, I don't know who commissioned the Adesina, or he did that out of curiosity.
Okay.
Understand me?
Oh well, let's get to talk to
David. Before you talk to Fanny Modu,
right.
I'd like to actually ask him this particular question. Yeah, you are a psychologist, Dele, and earlier on I said I would love for you to take a look at someone's body's language, but stuff. We are not going to talk about that. Do you believe what Governor Eno's daughter has said? Do you believe her story? And what do you think would happen to this little girl that has been brought into this very diabolical issue? What's your take? Is this for real or is this paranoia?
It's neither here nor there. I tell you. You recall that when Eno's wife died, the daughter, this particular woman, was playing the role of first lady, and all the perquisites of office of the first lady were passed on to her. I think Eno made that grave mistake of doing such. How could you appoint your daughter to replace your wife in government? Where is it done? That shows the level of corruption and greed. That means you feel that there shouldn't be any vacuum and that money will be lying there for whoever wants to pick. Just because you want everything. That's avarice. That's one. Two, that's why I align with Peter's position that no real, genuine man of God can aspire to political office. And in the final analysis, if we look around us with our interactions, how many people that profess to be men of God are truly men of God? Because we have gotten close to some of these people. We know the shenanigans beyond the pulpit. Then you recall, this is not the first time this kind of allegation is coming. You recall that Kemi Olunloyo accused her father when her father was alive. Her father just died recently. In fact, he's still in the morgue. That at one point in time, because when people were asking her, why is it that you cannot reconcile with your father, even at old age? She said, no, that the gory side of her younger brother that was allegedly used as sacrifice by his father for power haunts her till today. And that man was not diagnosed with senility till he died. He never, at any point in time, refuted this allegation. So, and we have seen politicians that have died. We have seen that the best child of that home is always the sacrificial lamb.
Okay, now I'm
Let's trace it. That's one part of your question.
Okay.
So I cannot say it is not true, and I cannot say it is true. But this analogy I've given you will also help you in taking your decision.
All right.
Then about that child.
Yes.
About that child. I am telling you that that woman should be charged for child abuse. You could see that that child couldn't comprehend what the mother wants her to say. She was just parroting what the mother was saying. And it's quite unfortunate. That particular incident will haunt that girl except she goes through psychological treatment, which can only reduce the impact but not completely obliterate it.
Okay.
So that girl would continue to imagine what the mother said. Like Peter said, if that lady is not quickly treated psychologically, it's an end for any male-female relationship for her.
All right, now let's take it to, thank you so very much, Mr. Fanimo, for your thoughts there. Let's take this also to Mr. Felix Pulevo. I'm going to also ask you the same question, but I would move to the other conversation, which is about the arrest of the ritualist, Onyeka Obu, who of course was handed over by the immigration officer. I'm talking about, what's his name again? Orji, yes. The Orji guy, Ugochukwu Orji, that's handed over this ritualist. And of course, you would recall that he was induced, he was supposed to be induced with a bribe of 10 million naira. Interestingly, let's bring it out there that the General Overseer of Omega Firepower Ministries, I'm talking about Apostle Chibuzo Gift Chinyere, has decided to gift the young man, the immigration officer, the sum of 1 million naira as part of his benevolence for, and of course, encouragement for rejecting that 10 million naira bribe by, of course, the ritualist himself that has been arrested now. And I'm talking about Onyeka Obu. Now, what do you make of these kind of situations where security operatives will be induced with money and, of course, a very right arrest that is supposed to be carried out will be stalled or not even carried out at all? Then, of course, just oppose it with the situation in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Felix, let's have you.
All right, thank you. My view is not too different from what the previous speakers have said. The reality on ground is that, for me, I will even ask a fundamental question of what does the lady want to achieve? You know,
protection,
by saying
really.
that, fine. And then you would also find out that this is something that does not really have place like that in our laws. Even the immigration officer arresting him, is he going to be arraigned in court? What evidences are we going to bring? How are they going to handle the matter all through? These are all things to look out for, you know. So, but I know the young lady has a lot beyond just what she has said. She really has a lot in terms of she has seen and probably heard a lot that involves the father, that probably does not sit well with her in terms of her moral background.
Okay.
So it's just more or less a little of it that she has dished out to the media. So, but just like Mr. Daly has said, she will really need to be properly guided. She needs help at this time because the much she knows that we don't know will keep haunting her. We will be seeing her father as a governor, as a man of God. She will be seeing him as something else based on her experience. And each moment she sees sane people going and revering the father and according certain respect and honor, it will keep traumatizing her because she wish that, God, how I wish these people know what I know. They won't be doing what they are doing to this man. You know, so but for issue of bribe, we can kudos to the immigration officer who turned down this. We cannot also make a sweeping statement of saying all security agencies, they are trying, they are rejecting bribe. We have one instance where this immigration officer said no to the bribe from this ritualist.
Right.
We accord him that respect for rejecting it and for also giving us a good name internationally.
Very well said, Felix. Let me bring it back to the studio here. Peter, you saw the picture of the hero. That's what he's called now. He's called a hero. And then he just got a gift, 1 million naira. This is a gift. This is not bribe now. Do you think he should take this gift from this general overseer? I'm talking about the immigration officer now.
You don't say no to gift. It's an appreciation for, understand me. But mind you, for every one person that said no, 10 has said yes.
Okay.
Understand me? So people like him are very rare. So they are very rare. So they should be encouraged. They should be appreciated, and they should be used as an example for others.
Absolutely. I agree. Also, before I let David come in, do you think Governor Eno should respond to the allegations his daughter has made? He's keeping mum. He's not said anything so far. Do you expect him to make a public statement regarding this matter?
Well, for me, it's a very tough question because she's the woman is his daughter, and there's no case of mental illness. Understand me? So and you, by giving her that appointment, you know that she is mentally stable. So I wonder what she's going to say tomorrow. Understand me? So you say, to me, it shouldn't be happening, but it has happened.
It's rather unfortunate. David?
Okay. Well, because of our time, really, let's just have your final thoughts on all of the conversations we've had this morning.
For me, I'm not happy that the prosecutors are talking about 6-year jail term for Simon Ekpa, because terrorism is a capital offense. At least if they are talking of 30 years, I would have been happier.
Wow.
Oh, well, sinner climbs with their kind of laws. Well, let's come to you, Mr. David Fanimo, as we go coast home. Your parting shot as well.
Well, my parting shot is that Inaya Baribe and his cohorts in the National Assembly should bury their head in shame for coming out after 2 years of doing what we have not even confirmed, because I've just negated a position here that if 109 men, 109 could allow such a thing, such an infringement against this constitution, what are they protecting in the house? It's a shame. They should bury their head in shame. Then on this matter, on this Eno and our daughter's matter, Eno should not be quick to respond he should also go into retrospect, find out if actually he committed that crime as alleged by the daughter. And people should also take time to interrogate some of those allegations and find out if it is true.
Yeah.
So for me, it is still neither here nor there. But what concerns me is that little girl, much more than the mother.
All right.
That's my final thought.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Well, Mr. Felix Pulevo, let's have your parting shot as we coast home.
Right. For me, it's an issue of us looking at Nigeria as our common matrimony, looking at it as our national asset, that this is the whole thing we have as a nation. And so we should reduce to a barest minimum the level of politics we play with our identity as a nation, this country called Nigeria. We should be, we are better off when we are one. Things shouldn't be considered right because you do them and wrong because you don't do them. Support every leader that comes on board, whether he's from your region or not.
Okay.
And do not think that another person is better without being tested to power. You know? But, so all those kind of things should be serious consideration for us. Nigeria is one. Let us unite ourselves and support the president and also stop playing politics with everything. And I'm sure we'll have a better country that all of us will be proud of someday.
Well, that's a beautiful place to hang it on. Honorable Felix Pascal Pulevo, all the way from Taraba, and of course, coming from our Benin studios as well. Thank you so very much for being a part of this conversation. And a big thank you to you, Mr. Dele Fanimo. You know how we do it. We definitely will see you next week. But of course, bring something for your boy here. You understand? All right. Thank you so very much for being a part of this conversation, gentlemen.
Thank you to you. And I enjoy my brother, Pulevo, and my consistent brother there, Peter Anosike.
Oh, well.
Babatunde.
You've christened him again. Fantastic. I would look into that christening. Maybe we'll do one small party for that one. Thank you so very much, gentlemen, for being here. All right. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll be going straight to trends. And we'll be looking at some of the trending things that happened during the week. Do stay with us after this.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
All right, glad to have you back. Now let's get to some trends. The House of Representative Committee on Basic Education rejected a delegation from the West African Examination Council WAEC on Friday, insisting that only the head of the national office could answer the troubling incidents reported during the ongoing exams. The committee gave WAEC a 24-hour deadline to appear before it following complaints of late exam starts, poor logistics, and unsafe conditions for the students. WAEC's representative Ambrose Okelezo had told lawmakers that the head of service was unavailable due to exam duties. Quite a good excuse. But lawmakers expressed outrage over the chaos, including students in Jalingo who reportedly started their exams at midnight, and others in Oyo, Ogun, Benue, and Osun who wrote papers in darkness. In Taraba State, an exam hall even collapsed on candidates. The committee reminded WAEC that exams funded by the government must be conducted properly and cited past failures by their other bodies, including JAM, which once scheduled early morning tests and caused thousands of candidates to fail due to technical errors. Well, this is quite a conversation that would not leave us so soon. And well, we still have with us in the studio, Mr. Peter Anosike. I wanted to chime in on this. I know we had a bit of this conversation yesterday during the midday news, but again, the committee are saying, no, we do not want you a representative, we want the head. Are the committee doing right at this time, even insisting for the head to be around?
WAEC, as the name implies, is not a Nigerian thing.
Yes, West African Examination
Council. It is not a NECO or SSSC. This is a West African thing.
An exam.
And the headquarters is in Accra, Ghana. So, the head that they are talking about is attending to all the countries in West Africa, not just Nigeria. So they have done enough by sending people in Nigeria to go and answer them.
Okay.
Understand me? So saying that giving 24 hours, they are not your houseboys. Understand me? They should have that at the back of their mind. But for me, this issue is a Nigerian problem, not a WAEC problem.
How do you mean?
Logistics is the problem.
Okay.
Logistics and infrastructure. The school that collapsed.
In Charaba.
How is it a WAEC problem?
Yeah, but WAEC in its apology had said that what they were trying to do was to curb examination malpractice. They didn't want the papers to leak, you know, and all of that. That was why they decided to take the examinations a little bit late.
How does that concern the house?
No, that's different from it's different from the Charaba
or even
issue.
the darkness in writing the exams in the darkness.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. They said it was because of the fact that they were trying to curb exam malpractice. So that's the thing. Yeah, basically, it is a fundamental issue, like you said, a Nigerian issue. Now, when you talk about a conducive environment for learning, it is zero in most public schools and all of that. I don't know what your experience was when you were growing up or when you went to school.
I grew up in the good old days.
The golden days.
Yeah, so we didn't experience all this.
I know.
And the population was few and more sane. Understand me? So it is now that I begin to hear of all this kind of thing. It's new to me. So
the issue of population explosion must be managed appropriately.
And that's why we are having the national grid failure. Because the grid were built in the 60s when the population was below 56 million.
Absolutely.
So imagine a food you cook for 10 people now being eaten by 50 people.
It won't work.
It won't work.
Yeah.
Let's talk to the part where the Minister of Education is involved in all of this. You did mention infrastructural deficit being one of the problems, logistics as well being one of the problems of the exams of the students having to face such situation. Now, the part of the JAM glitch that happened just recently, the minister went before the JAM registrar, I'm talking about Ishaq Oloyede, before he came out to say this was our problem, we take responsibility. The minister had already gone to social media and say, hey, this is the Tinubu's administration stamping out malpractice and all of that. Just opposing it with what the JAM registrar did say. Do you think that the minister should be held accountable for, one, inconducive atmosphere for learning by these students, two, logistical reasons and time frame of exams? Do you think the minister should be held accountable as well?
One, these people try to defend the indefensible. As somebody on top, you shouldn't be in a hurry to issue statements. You have that to calm down and get briefs on what really happened before coming. Otherwise, you mess yourself up. And that's what the minister has done, because Ishaq Onuyode contradicted him, which is not good for him as the Minister of Education. Okay. Because he didn't wait he didn't call them to find out what actually went wrong. Because what happened had nothing to do with the exam malpractice.
Right.
So, and the man owning up responsibility, it is our fault.
Okay.
Which, I used to tell people, accepting responsibility, saying I'm sorry, it's not weakness, it is strength. Understand me? So, I commended that man for coming out to show that emotion.
He even cried. He cried at some point.
Because the truth is that the higher you go in the society, the less emotional you become.
Yeah.
So for him to come out to show that emotion, show that he was really touched.
Well, some persons have said that that is a political stunt to get Nigerians who are very empathic in nature and not forget anything.
He has no reason for that. He had no reason to shed tears if he was not emotionally touched.
All right, now let's get to another conversation. Senate President Gov'S has denied reports claiming he mocked Senator Sani Musa during a recent plenary session. The clarification follows online speculation, especially from social media and blogs, suggesting there was a public exchange between both lawmakers. Akwa explained that what occurred was a routine point of order raised by Senator Abdul Ningi, which momentarily interrupted Senator Musa's turn to speak. He said the proceeding followed standard Senate protocol and maintained that there was no breach of decorum. A video of the session followed, showing Senator Musa's attempting to define the word harmonize had circulated widely online, fueling the misunderstanding that it did happen at the plenary. Okay, that's the video. Maybe we might just have to listen to that particular session in a bit of a second. Do we have that? Let's listen.
What is the meaning of harmonize? Harmonize is a situation where point of order.
Mr. President.
The Senate President, the Senate President has come out to, deny the claims that he tried mocking Senator Sani Musa. Again,
that was painful to watch, really.
Mr. Peter, what is harmonize? I may have to ask you. Well, let's get to it. You think that was somewhat mocking or something?
Well, that's putting somebody that's on the spot.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's putting somebody that's on the spot. That's the guy, even his children will not be proud of him if he goes back. What will he tell his children if they fail the exam? But I know that there was a school in a high institution in Kano State that they said about out of 500 results submitted, that only 5 is genuine, that others were forged. And the owners of those results will one day become governors, senators in the country.
Can I just chime in something before David comes in? Is it possible that when you are, on the hot seat, that sometimes you just freeze and you're not able to put words together? Is it possible that that man actually did know what harmonize meant, but he just froze and couldn't say anything? Is it possible?
As a senator, you have been granted interviews. And interviews, you don't know what you will be asked. Understand me? So he should have been mentally prepared for all this kind of things. So you don't know it, you don't know it.
Oh my God.
Understand me?
Well, interesting one there. But again, to be very fair to Senator Musa, there's been a time when I was writing something and the word but, B-U-T, was playing so much thing on my head.
It has happened to me.
And I ask questions.
We have a mental knock.
Yeah.
Right.
But not in this situation.
Well,
you think that was not what happened here?
No,
I think that was what happened here.
It's
Yeah,
not,
really.
It's not.
Oh, really?
Gogo, his academic stuff, understand me? We know how most of these results come from Benin, from Togo. There's a very important man in Lagos, this Lagos state, who, when he wants to send a text message to Boname Tinubu, he will call me to come and send that message to him. That's WhatsApp message. So Arebosana, when Arebosana was the governor of Osun State,
right.
He calls me to come and send the text messages for him, control text for him for this governors. But his certificates passed my own.
But there are those, though, with heavy certificates who got that the legal way. Who knows? This senator might just be one of them.
I said, this man that I'm helping that to send the text messages, his certificates, this Chartered Institute of this social and so thing, understand me? So his certificates is more than my own.
Is there the possibility, really, that Senate President Gov'S did that on purpose to just put him at the spot? Is that a possibility?
Well, Bobby, one thing with him, he's a jovial person.
Is that the right word to use?
No, he's ordinarily, he's a jovial person. That's he is a...
He takes jokes on everything that comes.
Person.
Okay. So there is the possibility that
so
he
maybe
used that.
he wants people to have fun.
At the senator's expense, it's not fair. I mean, people shouldn't be laughing at the expense of another person.
He had done worse than this.
Yes, he has, really.
He had done worse than this.
All right, let's look at the fact that politically, this particular video has stormed all social media and buzzed everywhere. But would any of this affect the man's political standard in the near days? Or would Nigeria naturally just forget afterwards?
Do you remember when Sashina Peters told somebody, I wish you soonest recovery? So he said that Oyibo no be his language. Understand me? So in the other countries of the world, the Senate they conducted their listen in their
language.
In their languages.
Yeah.
Oh well, Oyibo no be your language does not mean it's not the lingua franca of Nigeria. The lingua franca of Nigeria is English language. But let's harmonize. Sorry, let's take this to the end part of the conversation. We have interaction. Let's take reactions on YouTube. I'm almost certain that my producers are ready with this one. Okay, I'm gonna just take this. Oh yes, it's on the screen. If what she is saying is the truth, then the little girl, needs to be protected. Now, this is coming from Wizi from YouTube, and I think he is reacting to the little baby's situation. And truly, yes, she really needs to be protected, because at that young age, if you consistently keep dishing out such things into such young children, it might just destroy their psyche. Well, this is where we have to call it a date. And of course, we have in the studio with us Mr. Peter Anosike, who is Voice of the People TV's in-house political affairs analyst, and of course, an economist by profession. Once again, Mr. Peter, thank you so very much for being here on Saturday.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of myself and of course my colleague Vivian Oguche, I want to say do have a splendid Saturday weekend. This is where we have to call it a day on the show. You know how it is. We have to go. But don't go nowhere. We have so much lined up for you on the TV station that you call your number one point. And of course, the Voice of the People television. Have an amazing Saturday ahead. David Edwin is my name. And I'm saying, God bless Nigeria.
I'm Vivian Oguche. Bye.